MCA, Mr. Speaker. I know he's a capable man. He's also been acting for the last 2 years, Mr. Speaker. As an assembly, I can recommend him because we've really not had a lot of issues. When there are issues, we have sat, talked, agreed on the way forward, and I've seen a smooth running of the assembly since we came back for the second year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with the experience, I know he could be the most experienced person in this job because he's still doing it right now, Mr. Speaker. And for the benefit of doubt, if you could have brought a new person, issues of tokens, members could have also suffered because we could wait longer for that person to go and change tokens. So our issues could be, we could be having issues here, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, personally, I don't have any problem with him. What I'll only ask him, if members accept to approve him, let him continue being loyal the way he is. Let him work, serve members like he's required to do. And Mr. Speaker, since I can also see that he is remaining with only a few years to retire, let us give him that opportunity so that he can serve the county and also, Mr. Speaker, enjoy the fruits of devolution as he takes over the roles of the clerk of these honorable members and this honorable house. And I'm requesting members to support the report so that we can have a substantive clerk to work for us and work for the people of Kisii County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support and I second.
Thank you, Honourable Member and Leader of Majority. Honourable Members, I now propose that this House, an official report of the County Assembly Service Board on the recruitment of the clerk of the County Assembly of Kisii, read on the table today, Tuesday, 12th November 2024. You are welcome, members. Yes, Leader, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I also wish to welcome the members from the weekend. And having looked at the report, Section 13 of the County Government Act 2012 provide that there shall be a clerk of the County Assembly appointed by the County Assembly Service Board with the approval of the County Assembly. On behalf of the people of Masige West, I rise to support the report and give my approval as a member representing the people of Masige West for the appointment of Jacob Onkeo, is my namesake, and a person who has served us in the last 2 years as an acting clerk. My first time to meet Onkeo was once I was elected as a deputy speaker, and he happened to be the head of committees, and he supported us at the liaison committee at that time with training, and he showed competence in ensuring that we have working committees in the assembly. And above all, we have had challenges, yes, in the last year, but he stood firm. And a clerk who is working for both the elected members and also the service, he has to have that kind of firmness and ensure that we are able to do what we are supposed to do. One thing I will always remember on care for, part of the responsibility of a clerk, as outlined here in page 1 of the report of the service board, is that he will be rendering of expert, non-partisan and impartial advice to the members of County Assembly on legislative process. We have had before a motion before this House that was brought by Honorable Member for Ichuni for the removal of a deputy governor, and at this time, Honorable Onkeo was able to provide us with the legislative process, being the first time in the history of Kenya to have handled a case that was discharging the mandate of a deputy governor. And you can see that whatever we did in this House followed the process that went to Senate. It passed through his guidance. And again, even the removal of the Deputy President of Kenya, many lawyers referred to Kisi as one of the people who created the authorities for the removal of deputy governors and deputy presidents in the Republic of Kenya. I am not saying that removing someone is good, but I'm saying we followed the process and it was key in terms of giving us that advice as required by the Constitution and the Services Act. I want to give my approval based also on his experience, having worked in the Assembly and grown through the ranks. Starting from an officer in this Assembly, grown from a teacher. Though that before he came here, he was a teacher. And this gives us an opportunity to see that indeed anyone who works can be able to get to the top. And being the clerk and the CEO of the Assembly is indeed something to show that someone can work, regardless whether you know someone, you don't know someone, you can be able to work and be able to be commended so long as you provide the service that you're required to provide. It was the principle of Mheshimiwa Moracha some time back. And I want to also conclude by saying ours is to approve the report based on the process. Having looked at the report, there was an advertisement that called on the candidates. Anyone who was willing to apply could have applied for the job. Very many people came out and applied for the job. Very many of them were actually shortlisted as shown in the report. And even some of them chose not to appear, but they were given an opportunity to come forth and present their credentials. I've gone through the scores, and I am impressed that Honorable Onkeo, the entire panelists, all of them scored him with an A. The person who gave Onkeo the lowest marks, who is our very own Honorable Lillian, gave Onkeo 80%. And that means he was a candidate for Form 4, he actually got a straight A. And I have no reason to doubt the knowledge of and the competence of the people who sat in the board to award these marks. Because as you can see, he got 86 from you, Honorable Speaker. He got 90 from Honorable Paradiso. He got 80 from Lillian Gold. He got 87, he got 84. Even me, who is one of the sharp people, I never scored this in Form 4. I actually got something to do with B+. But this guy has scored an A plain. And we want to thank him for the work he has done. And I'm very sure and positive, having worked with him as a deputy speaker, we interact a lot, especially on rendering the services to the members who sit here. We have had challenges with the COB whenever we are looking for approvals for payments for the members of the Assembly. And Onkeo has sat sometimes paying at 9 p.m. at night. He has worked on a material that we use to support the Assembly in terms of motions and other things, working throughout. There's a time, I remember when we were handling a motion, and at midnight, he was still in the office working for this county assembly. Not that he's paid overtime, but because I think he loves his job. And for the love of this job of being a clerk, I want to wish him the very best and ask my colleagues in the assembly that may you find it possible that we approve the appointment of Onkeo as the clerk of this county assembly. Thank you.
Thank you. Sameta Mukwerero, Mheshimiwa, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for also according me an opportunity to comment on the report of the commission which has been presented before the House. First and foremost, let me indicate that I'm supporting the report 100%, and at the same time, I congratulate the committee or the commission which sat for purposes of giving us a clerk. One, looking at it, honorable members, if you look at the score which the honorable member to page 7, you can see it was a competitive exercise which they were doing. Almost all the people who applied and who were being examined or vetted, all of them, as you look at the marks, all of them, they were above average. And in fact, if anything, they scored C+ and above, which means all of them qualified for university, if anything we were to compare about. So in this circumstance, Honorable Speaker, The person who has been appointed, if you look at the score, how much is scored, from the first person who was awarding him marks, he started awarding A. The second, even it was A+. So when going like that, this man who has been appointed as the clerk is a sharp man, and we can equally see from what he has been doing here in the as a clerk, acting clerk of the assembly. He has done exemplary good work. So there is no reason why we cannot support the motion before us and go ahead to approve this man as our clerk in this house. Lastly, is one of the persons who made one of my schools in my ward, Sameta Mixed Secondary School, to have a good foundation. Up to now, this school is doing very well in the national exams. So it's a person who I believe, once given this job, we will continue doing exemplary work to the assembly, and I am one of those persons supporting the same, and I support and request the honorable members also to support the same the way we have done, in that we have no problem, and go ahead to ask the speaker to put a question. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member for Bobalajo. Tweet just. What is happening? Technicians, what's happening? Mheshimiwa, you can use this one meanwhile. Kindly. Use that one for the time being.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want also to support the report that has been brought to this honorable house concerning the clerk. Honorable Speaker, from the word go, I want to thank the Commission, the work they have done. The candidate here who is before us, Mr. Speaker, he has been in this assembly since county government came into place. He has worked under 3 speakers now, including you. He has experience. He has been passing through a lot. He has seen the challenges that has been happening in this assembly. He has been seeing how people are solving these issues. So he has all the experience to run this assembly. According to Commissioner, Mr. Speaker, according to their findings, I can concur with them, because all that they are suggesting here, it is not exaggeration, Mr. Speaker. It is the reality of what the candidate has been doing in this assembly. So, Honorable Speaker, it is my suggestion that this Honorable House approve this candidate so that we can have easy time to move on with the business of this assembly. And as you can see, Mr. Speaker, this candidate, he has been acting since this regime. And you know, when you are in acting capacity, you can't make decisions because you just work fearing. If we give him full responsibility, I think he can deliver without any fear. So it is my suggestion that we approve him so that he can work for us without any fear. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable for Magenje Ward. Technician, can you find out what's happening with our machines?
Honourable Speaker, it's as if the minority side today we are not able to use our gadgets. We hope that the technician are going to do it. Honourable Speaker, on the onset, I stand to support this report. Honourable Speaker, I want to give 3 key issues which I've gone through this report. Number 1, when I went through this report, Honourable Speaker, I've realized we have high rate of unemployment in Kenya. You can see one position, the 3 applicants. I don't know, Speaker, these are an alarming rate in Kenya, and I want to say that it's high time that we do something to help our people secure employment. Honourable Speaker, number 2, I want to thank the service board because they have shown us transparency. Why? They have indicated in each candidate, each commissioner, how much they have awarded the applicants who did the interview. This is credible. I want to thank the service board for this. And indeed, it is a report I've seen for the first time in the assembly where interviewers have given marks to each candidate. And Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the service for this, and the commissioners continue doing this, so that we are transparent on whatever we do. Honourable Speaker, number 2, I want also to thank the members of staff whom have been able to see in this report, Honourable Speaker, who also wanted to be the clerk of the county assembly in Kisii County. Honourable Speaker, if you go to page 7, number 9, we have Siviran Masanga. Honourable Speaker, we did very well, 63%. I've seen Daniel Umuyo Mbaka also getting 61%, and lastly, George Ochot, 70%. This credible, Honourable Speaker, I want to agree that now that we have qualified members of staff in the Kisii County Assembly who can get promotion and work for us in this county and beyond. Honourable Speaker, I want to thank them for also aspiring to get these positions. Honourable Speaker, the other one I want also to mention is the experience of Wonkel. Wonkel has been with us here since the initiation of this assembly. He's a man I've known, very polite. He has humility. He does not do politics. Honourable Speaker, in this county I've not heard of him. And Honourable Speaker, I want to say this is a profession that he has undertook, and Honourable Speaker, he has tried to run away for doing politics in this county, Honourable Speaker. I've not heard that Honourable Speaker doing anything as we get that county staff and the like doing awards, but he has been very opinionated with his work and his profession. And Honourable Speaker, what I wanted to say, if the House approves the nomination and is eventually appointed as the clerk of the county assembly, I will request, not only request, I will urge him to serve the members of this assembly and the staff and the county as large. Let him work with humility. Let him not take as that he is now the best among the rest. Let him work for this county with humility, with professionalism, so that we have the county assembly learn professionally and indeed the rest, we can show the rest example, the rest of the other counties. Honorable Speaker, I also want to talk the service board. Is high time we have a successful holder of this position so that he can work for us. As that Honorable Ongubo say, let somebody be appointed so that he can work with also as that secretary of tenure, and they can work for us. So, no Speaker, I support and thank the service for the work they done. And no Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Honorable Michael Masetti.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And from the onset, as I support the report, I also want to thank the Service Board for a job well done that has seen it, the report being in this assembly this morning. Honorable Speaker, I want to talk about Mr. Onkeo as a person whom I've known since I joined this assembly, as somebody who is quite humble and dedicated to do what is mandated to do. He has been acting for 2 years now, and he has always been patient. And we know that patience pays. Indeed, it is going to pay for him. I want to urge him that as we approve, let him know that this very same house that is going to approve him can at one given time disapprove him if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do or if he changes his characters. You know, we have approved you because we have known that you are humble, you are listening, and you are ready to work with us. As the Honorable Majority Leader said, we want continuity because you have been the system. You know what we want. You know how we want it and when we want it. Continue serving members the same way you have been serving, and I want to wish you well as we approve you, but serve with dedication and even add more to what you have been doing. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Honorable Member for Kyogoro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also stand to say that I cannot be able to oppose this report because, Mr. Speaker, when Honorable Sonia, the member from Okwerero, was giving his remarks, he said Mr. Ongeo scored an A+. It's the first time for me to hear that. And Mr. Speaker, when I look at this score sheet, there is a person I'm sympathizing with, Emmanuel Masese Mamanyi, who also scored 73. And I would love, Mr. Speaker, because this is a person I know, to wish him well because his time will come next time. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Onkeo, who has scored very well in this score sheet, I would say, Mr. Speaker, it is good for him because as an institution, it is always good when you promote your people. So to me, I take this one as a promotion for Mr. Onkeo, and it is a motivation at work when an in-house promotion is done. Yes, he has scored to get this. He has well performed exemplary. But again, Mr. Speaker, that is a promotion to him, and I feel he would be more motivated to work diligently to serve this very blessed county. Mr. Speaker, just recently we had health practitioners who were given promotions. That is very encouraging. So that's why from the side of motivation, I feel it is really good that one of our acting clerk to being the really clerk. I support and
Honorable Member for past secretarials, listening stand for long. So
Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this report and add only one point, that Mr. Jacob Ongeo has been on acting capacity for 2 years, and it is very encouraging when people have been acting for some time, they are promoted to full capacity. This reminds me of what happened a few weeks ago when we brought in a new county secretary, and the one who has been acting one Mombasa made a very moving speech during that ceremony. And I really therefore want to congratulate this commission for giving Mr. Ongeo a full capacity as a clerk. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Manani.
Mheshimiwa Spika, yada ikawa labda leo sijui macho yako hayakuwa na niona huku, nimejaribu kuinua mkono nami niweze kuchangia hapa, lakini mwishowe macho yako yameniona. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kuunga ripoti hii mkono kwa vile tukiangalia kwa muda mrefu sana hatujakuwa na karani mkakamavu ambaye amehitimishwa na bunge hili baada ya misukosuko ambayo tumekuwa nayo kwa miaka chache iliyopita. Mheshimiwa Spika, Bwana Onkeo ndio amekuwa karani kaimu kwenye bunge hili kwa muda, lakini naona kwa wale ambao walikuwa wametoa nia ya kuwa karani ni wengi, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu nilipoona walikuwa 33, lakini mwishowe kuna wengine waling'atuka kabla ya kuja kwenye mtihani kwenye bodi ya huduma. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa sana kuangalia hapa na iende chini kama historia ya kwamba ndio tunaweza sema nafsi hii ilikuwa labda kutoka kwa sehemu ya Kitutu, lakini tukiangalia hapa kuna haki iliyotendeka, na kwa historia ndio maana nasema tumepewa orodha ya nukta ambaye kila mmoja alipata. Kila mmoja kwenye bodi alipeana alama yake. Kuna uwezo wa utendaji kwa kila mmoja ambaye alihudhuria hayo mahojiano. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ninapoangalia hapa, hata ingawa siwafahamu wote, lakini kuna bwana mmoja ambaye ni afisa kwenye kaunti hii ambaye anaitwa Emmanuel Masese. Namfahamu na namjua vizuri sana, lakini mkiangalia katika hii orodha ya nukta ambazo walizopewa ni kama ilikuwa chini kidogo. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kufahamisha bunge hili ya kwamba ndio tumempa ama bodi imemhitimisha Bwana Onkeo. Si ya kwamba Bwana Onkeo ni mzuri sana, lakini tunaangalia kwa ile ripoti ambayo tumepewa. Mheshimiwa Spika, chenye mimi ningependa ambaye nawakilisha watu wa Bogeka, ningesema ya kwamba Bwana Onkeo anapoingia ofisini, kwa sababu hatuna budi tutamhitimisha, atendee waheshimiwa na wafanyikazi wa bunge hili haki kwa chochote kile ambacho anaenda kufanya. Hatutakuwa na budi kumng'atua kama hawezi angalia maslahi yetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, nakumbuka hapa tumekuwa na msukosuko hapa ambaye ilikuwa inaleta changamoto kati ya waheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima Bwana Onkeo ajue kazi yake kwa ofisi itakuwa nini, hasa waheshimiwa wanataka nini. Ndio maana nasema ya kwamba si ati ni mzuri sana, hakuna mtu kwa hii dunia ambaye ni mzuri sana, lakini ajaribu kutekeleza ambayo waheshimiwa watahitaji. Mheshimiwa Spika, Bwana Onkeo ako na uzoefu mwingi kwa sababu amekuwa karani kaimu kwa muda mrefu. Kuna nyakati mingi ambazo tumehitaji usaidizi wake. Tumempata Bwana Onkeo na anatuhudumia vizuri sana. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kama sasa hivi tunapoangalia chenye tunaomba Bwana Onkeo na pamoja na wewe Mheshimiwa Spika, tupate, kama ni haki ya waheshimiwa wapate kwa nyakati ifaavyo, kusiwe na kuchelewa. Sasa wacha tunamuhitimisha saa hizi. Kama upande wa mshahara anahakikisha kwamba mishahara imekuja wakati ufaavyo. Kama ni wakati wa marupurupu inafika wakati ifaavyo Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kuomba waheshimiwa hapa bila kupoteza muda, Mheshimiwa Spika, uweke swali tupitishe, Bwana Onkeo ingie kwa ofisi, angalie ni wapi anastahili kutusaidia, tusaidike kwa haraka sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Saa hizi Mheshimiwa Spika, dakika moja tu, tumebakisha miaka miwili. Kwa hivyo tuweke mikakati sawa sawa na wewe ukiwa, ili muweze kuendeleza maslahi yetu vizuri. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, nakuomba tu uweka swali. Asante.
Honorable members, this is a very critical report and I will make sure everybody has a chance. Honorable member for Buguselo has raised his hand for long. Yes, Vincent.
Thank you, sir.
I know Amos and Vincent. I have said your name for Buguselo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I haven't raised my hand, but I want to support the report by saying that Mr. Onkeo has been acting as the clerk of county assembly, and for that reason, as you look at the mood of the house, I want to request that you put a question and we do away with this. Thank you, sir.
Majority Whip.
Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mimi nataka kuunga mkono Mheshimiwa Spika kuhusu hii mswada. Mheshimiwa Spika, Onkeo tumefanya kazi na yeye kwa muda mrefu. Tena amekuwa clerk msaidizi kwa muda usiokuwa mrefu sana. Lakini kulingana na kazi yake Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeiona. Tena Mheshimiwa Spika, kama ingekuwa hii ndio njia moja, mtu anapatiwa mamlaka kulingana na ile kazi amefanya, ingekuwa kazi inaendelea kuliko vile tunapata mtu kutoka nje, mtu anakuja anaachiliwa alafu akiingia kwa ofisi Mheshimiwa Spika, anageuka, anajisahau yeye mwenyewe, anakaa kiofisi kinyama Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini tukiangalia Mheshimiwa Onkeo, Clerk Onkeo amefanya kazi, tena ako na ile hali ya utulivu na ako na ile hali ya kujua wananchi ama wafanyikazi vile wanakaa, hata mahali wametoa, yeye huwa anaelewa Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, ukiangalia Mheshimiwa Spika, bunge mzima sisi wote tuko na nia moja ya kupitisha huu mswada. Hata huku nchi kuna wale wanaongojelea. Kuna wimbo mmoja huwa wanasema kwa Kikisii Mheshimiwa Spika, na nakuomba uniruhusu ni useme huo wimbo kwa Kikisii. Mheshimiwa Spika, pale nje hata nsai ukienda wacha nje hata kwa hili nini ukiangalia kuna wale wanaongojelea. Waona kama tumepitisha hivi alafu usikie uwimbe kisema inasema hivi Mheshimiwa Spika. Onkeo tuwale koligia, bana tuamanyora. Onkeo tuwale koligia, bana tuamanyora. Kiraki tuwale koligia, bana tuamanyora. Kiraki tuwale koligia. Weka swali.
Order. Kwa heshima kabisa, Allow me, I invite the Honorable Leader and all Commissioner. No, it is working.
Mine is working. I think pia hii imenionyesha heshima. I appreciate. Honorable Speaker, I sincerely appreciate this opportunity because you have extended this time despite the two requests from honorable members that you put a question. I'm happy. Allow me to add my voice. I did give Ongeo the right marks, which I am happy about it. Honorable DS felt like it was the lowest mark at that particular point. So thank you for giving me a chance to also defend those marks. We all marked out of our conscience. We gave what we believed was right. When the tallying came through and an average came that we had an individual who had the highest marks, it landed on Mr. Onkeo's desk. And I'm glad that it happened that way because this is an individual with wide experience. He's an individual who has access to CBK credentials. He has not failed any honorable member who has appeared on his desk to seek guidance on matters of the House. He has not failed when honorable members were insisting that they want priority, especially when it comes to allocation of the little resources we have. So we are happy that many of us also support this position. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to go to the content of the report and give it a gender lens. We had over 45 applicants. Out of the 45, 31 were shortlisted. 6 were female. Unfortunately, 4 out of the 6 decided not to appear for the interview. Only 2 appeared. I would encourage female applicants to continue pursuing this fight, much as we are demanding for a space in, as provided by law of the 2/3 gender rule. It's important that we also express constant desire to occupy this space. Yes, so thank you so much for this opportunity. I think Onkeo is the right candidate and I support that. Thank you so much.
I stand to put a question on Ramos for 2 minutes on Daddy. You have raised your hand so long, so please. And the other one? No, put it off kindly. Just take the other one. Majority whip, is yours working? Yeah, this one.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to, first and foremost, congratulate the County Assembly Services Board for the job well done, Speaker. Under your stewardship, you have demonstrated to us the transparency under which you have, even in the manner in which you have allocated the performance in terms of the people who appeared before you. And Honorable Speaker, I think this is the first time we are having such a kind of a report indicating how each candidate scored. And so I want to thank the men and women who constitute your service board that you steer for the work well done. Second, Honorable Speaker, I also want to join my colleagues to support this very particular motion. Honorable Speaker, many may not know that I didn't know this morning, I'm a bit old, that I've known the clerk of this assembly, the acting clerk, Jacob Onkeo, now for 24 years. 24 years, Honorable Speaker, in the sense that he was my classroom teacher at the Kisi High School, Honorable Speaker, and therefore that year I joined the high school in the year 2000. So up to now, those are already 24 years. But Honorable Speaker, before I want to reiterate the very many accolades that have been showered on Honorable Onkeo, I want to again go back to what invites us to this discussion, the County Services Act number 24 of 2017, and more particularly, Honorable Speaker, Section 16 moving downwards, that provides both for procedural functions Honorable Speaker, and the administrative functions of the clerk, Honorable Speaker. And I am interested on Section 17 of the County Services Act, which tells us that the clerk is the secretary of the board, Honorable Speaker, and more importantly, is also the chief executive officer of the board and the accounting officer of the board, Honorable Speaker, and the administrative head of service, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I have heard a number of my colleagues talk about serving us, serving the staff. It is true that is a responsibility that is bestowed to the person who is going to have this position from the County Assembly Services Act number 24 of 2017. But Honorable Speaker, I want to say I have seen Onkel rise from different departments in this assembly. I came in when Onkel was the head of committees. The position that one of is a clerk is currently holding Cyprian Masanga, and I saw him rise to management. I saw him rise to the deputy clerk. I have seen him rise to the position of the acting clerk. And Honorable Speaker, if this House approves him, I will also witness him rising to the position of the clerk. But I will tell you, Honorable Speaker, without missing on my word, because I had an opportunity to steer this assembly for about 2 years, Honorable Speaker. Keo is one other very committed member. There was a time when members of the County Assembly were being surcharged. Honorable Speaker, when Onkel took over as the head of committees, Honorable Speaker, he wanted to make sure that there is no room for surcharging honorable members, that all the documentation for honorable members was done in such a way that there will never be any room, Honorable Speaker, for purposes of surcharging. And Honorable Speaker, he did that very exemplary. But more importantly, Honorable Speaker, it is the other interpersonal attributes. People have talked about humility. People have talked about a man who speaks very less, Honorable Speaker. People have talked about a man who does much. Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with them more that Honorable the clerk of this assembly, Onkel, is one person who speaks very less, but Honorable Speaker does very much in terms of the responsibilities that I bestowed. And so, with the kind of passion I see in him, with the analytical skills I see him, I have no doubt, Honorable Speaker, that he will be able to steer this assembly forward. Honorable Speaker, finally, I got interested that in the advertisement, in the interviews that you were doing, it attracted quite a number of persons, both from the executive arm of government and the legislator, Honorable Speaker. I have looked through this list. I saw Edwin Atege, a man I know is one of the chief officers of this county government. Emmanuel Masese Momanyi, Honorable Speaker, CPA, Emmanuel Masese Momanyi. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that Masese Momanyi, when I was doing my first postgraduate in public health and international masters in public health and international health, this Emmanuel Momanyi taught me biostatistics. And so he's a man that I know, Honorable Speaker. Cyprian Masanga, again, a member of this county assembly, a staff. Honorable Speaker, I looked at Isaiah Matoke, a clerk for my committee on devolution and ward-based development. I saw George Indemo Choti. I saw Jacob Onkeo. And Honorable Speaker, I saw one who did not appear, Alex Nyamweya Nyangares, Honorable Speaker, who is one of the officers of the executive arm of government, and who was also a student for the clerk, Onkeo, Honorable Speaker. But that tells you that this position attracted a number of persons. It looked more of an internal advert, but you have been able to choose the very best, Honorable Speaker, and so I want to join my colleagues. And if this House approves him, we wish him very well, Honorable Speaker. And as the steward for the service board, Honorable Speaker, you only need to tell us where we take lunch. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, I now put a question that this House adopts a report of the County Assembly Service Board on the recruitment of the clerk of the County Assembly of Kisii, date on the table today, Tuesday, 12th November 2024. As many of the same opinion say aye, as many of the contrary opinion say nay, the aye have it. Before the next order, read of majority.
Thank you, honorable members. Let me also take this opportunity to thank the House for having approved Mr. Onkeo as the clerk of this assembly and this House. I now want to invite members to the Speaker's boardroom and the members for the state for the swearing in of the new clerk, Mr. Jacob Onkeo, immediately after the adjournment. Thank you.
Commissioner Ondari, your remark.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to appreciate the honorable members for approving our report. That means, Mr. Speaker, we did a better job. And I've been saying in this house, Mr. Speaker, kwamba pesa haitaki kelele. And I see members are quiet, Mr. Speaker. That means pesa haitaki kelele. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Lastly, report from CAF, Honorable Wari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Let me be the first one to congratulate our clerk, Onkeo, for being the substantive clerk of this house. And the Honorable Speaker, as a member of CAF, as a representative of this house, and I sit in the EC as a Nyanza cluster representative. SOCAT is a body of CAF. And I take this opportunity as a CAF member to welcome Honorable Onkeo to the SOCAT, which is a body of CAF. So please present his name today as we swear him in, so that he is also acknowledged and recognized as a member of CAF. Thank you.
Thank you. Lastly, Chair Sports, thank you for the arrangement of the CASA, although it would trace one or two issues, but I know today everybody is happy. Chair, thank you very much. The House is adjourned until 2:30 today. Thank you.
Thank you.